So as we enter this time with the Lord, and as we enter into his presence, and I'm really thinking about entering into his presence, I'm not thinking about him entering into our presence. Okay? And I know this is a lot of semantics. But one thing I notice sometimes, I'll go to a prayer meeting and folks will say, Lord, please come into the room. Please come into me and please guide our discussion. And I don't want to fight semantics here. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the fact of the matter is he's already here. He's already here. He's already inside of me. If you follow Christ, he's inside of you already. He's not going to triple up just because we say a special prayer. He's already here. And so I wonder what would happen if we just said, you know what? He's already here. He's a spirit, and I'm a spirit, and you're a spirit. You're a spirit, and your spirit lives inside of a body. Think about that. We have a physical body, but our physical body is not us any more than this clothing that I'm wearing is me. This clothing that I'm wearing covers me up so that I'm not cold and so that I don't get arrested. But this clothing, it's not me. And our skin is not me. It's an organ. My liver's not me. My eyes are not me. My eyes are an instrument that I can use to see, but they're not me. The real me is my spirit. And the real God is a spirit. And his spirit is all around me. It's in me. It's almost like radio waves. It's everywhere. So imagine that we just step into his spirit and we don't even have to go anywhere. It's just mental. We just focus and say, you know what, I'm just going to communicate at a spirit level for the next 15, 20 minutes. I'm just going to communicate at a spirit level. And I want to imagine that we're just entering into his presence. Lord, we enter into your presence. Hey, you're already here. We acknowledge your presence. We acknowledge that you're already inside of me and you're around me and you're totally in all of this space around me. I haven't sensed you because I haven't reached out to you. I haven't slowed down enough to sense you. And so I want to spend time with you, Lord. For the next 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes, I just want to be in your presence. So today, I announced that I would talk about hearing the voice of God. Now, I can't make any promises of what you're going to hear today because we're not going to command God or demand God that he speaks. But what we're going to do is we're going to put ourselves in a position where we can hear if he speaks. I personally believe he's speaking all the time. You know how right now, if you had a radio and you were to push the button that said on and you were to tune the radio, you could probably hear 20 different channels. Where is the noise coming from in the channels? It's in the air. The radio waves are all around you. If somebody's on a cell phone next to you, the radio wave of the cell phone transmission is all around you, but you can't hear it because you're not tuned into it. But when you take that radio and you tune it to the very station that you want to listen to, what it does is it picks up the radio signal from the air and it plays that radio signal. Imagine that God is a spirit and he's in you and he's around you right now, and he's speaking anyway. He's saying, I love you and I care about you and I care for you and I know your future and I know your past and I love you. You're my daughter. You're my son and I want the best for you. Imagine that he's tuned in all the time. He's speaking. But if your radio dial isn't on him, you don't hear him. If your radio dial is constantly scrolling online, you're hearing what's online. If your radio dial is remembering someone that chewed you out yesterday, if there's a voice in your life that constantly tells you that you're stupid and you make bad choices, you're hearing that voice all of the time, okay? Or if there's an internal track inside of you that says, I'm not good enough and I'm a failure, and you're listening to that track, that's what you're going to hear all the time. But imagine that we were to change our tuning so that instead we're hearing God. And that's obviously today I'm very specifically dialed into, and I'm going to give you an exercise in a few minutes so you can practice hearing God. But that's why reading the Bible is so important, because it's a channel where we receive information. The different, if we spend an hour scrolling, that's the dial that we're tuned into. But if we spend an hour reading the word, that's the channel we're dialed into. And if we spend an hour just sitting in his presence, that's the channel we're dialed into. And although we can't guarantee that if we spend an hour reading the word, that we're going to get our life direction from that 1 hour, and I can't guarantee that if I spend an hour talking with the Lord, I'm going to know what to wear next hour. But if we spend more time in his word and we spend more time talking with him, and we spend more time even in environments like this, wouldn't you agree? We will begin to think like him more. We will be able to tune our radio into him more. We'll be able to almost more like on command say, Lord, I need help right now. Is this character approaching me good or bad? And you get a feeling inside of yourself that says, that's good, you can trust. Or you get a feeling inside of yourself that says, no, you better run the other way. Guess what? If you know that you're tuned into him, you're able to more accurately assess those types of things. And I'm still not saying they're always going to be right, but it's just like the radio dial. When we move that radio dial, we're able to hear better. The more time we spend with him, the better that we're able to hear. So we want to enter into his presence. We want to have our heart open to him. We want to learn to hear his voice. You see, here's the thing. He knows we'll make mistakes. Remember, maybe you've raised children before and you've tried to teach them to hear a certain voice, or you've tried to teach them to speak certain words, and they don't always get them right, and they don't say it right. Do you get angry at them? Oh, you year and a half toddler, you're so, you're not going to get angry at them because they say the word 100 times before they finally get it right. Will you say, no, don't put your finger in the socket 100 times before they actually know the words that you're saying? Do you get angry? No. You just repeat it tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. And a year later, they don't put their finger in the socket anymore. Maybe even they have to get burned one time before they hear and they go, oh, yes. Isn't that a little how we are? God doesn't get angry if we come to him and we say, Lord, please speak to me. And we spend time with him, and maybe we hear him a little wrong. Maybe we hear him a little wrong, and maybe we even take an action today and we realize at the end of the day that we didn't hear him quite right. He doesn't get angry. He says, son, daughter, come back to me tomorrow. Let's spend some more time together. Because the thing is, he really just wants to spend time with us. He doesn't care what words we use, and he doesn't care what words he uses, I don't think. He really just wants to spend time with us. You know how it is when you care about someone? You really care about them. And sometimes you just want to be in their presence, especially when you're having a bad day or a really good day. You don't want to be preached at. Just can we hang out? Let's go for a walk. We don't have to talk. We're just together. That's how Jesus wants to be with us. His love, his light, it crowds out the darkness. I want to read a verse to you. Let's start here. 1 John chapter 7. 1 John, there's no chapter 7. 1 John chapter 4, verse 7 says, beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. Let's meditate on that for a minute. If God is love, If I enter into his presence and tune the radio dial to hear his love, to feel his love, to imagine him embracing me, do I even need to speak in words? Or can I just sit in his presence? Does he even need to speak in words if he gives me the vision that his arms are around me and he's just holding me? I'm having a rough day and I just sit in his presence for an hour and I don't say anything. Is that okay? Yes. He's a loving father. I want to turn to one more passage. This is John chapter 10, verse 27. John chapter 10, verse 27. This is Jesus speaking to his disciples. He says, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Jesus is making the statement that if we're sheep to him, that we'll know his voice. Now think about this. How do sheep learn the voice of the shepherd? If you were to take an orphan sheep and take it from one shepherd over here and place it in a flock here, never heard this shepherd before, would that new orphan sheep know the voice of the shepherd? No. That sheep would know the voice of the other shepherd. So maybe if you've been in the world, or you haven't spent much time with God, or you've been dominated by a family member, that's the voice of your old shepherd. When you spend time with God initially, you may not initially hear his voice. Just like a baby sheep, if a baby sheep was born, the sheep won't know the shepherd's voice. But if the sheep goes to the feeding trough 3 times a day and the sheep tries to fall off the edge of the canyon and the shepherd pulls the sheep back and the shepherd pets the sheep's head and the shepherd says, here's where you feed. And if the sheep gets a hangnail and the shepherd has to hold the sheep down, and even if it hurts, he rips the hangnail out. And then the sheep goes, oh, wow, that hurt really bad, but now it doesn't hurt anymore. Is the sheep learning the voice of the shepherd? Yes. We learn the voice of the shepherd by the time we spend with the shepherd. It's not instantaneous. It's not magic. The more time we spend with the shepherd, the better we'll know his voice. We can get to where we hear his still small voice. You see, his still small voice is gentle. And that's why it's easy to miss or obey. God usually doesn't yell at you. He generally doesn't condemn us. Very rarely does he condemn us. He may offer gentle correction. Hey, get ready to take a wrong step there. You took a wrong step there yesterday. Can I love you into the right step today, son? Can I love you into the right step today, tomorrow? Now, if you're getting ready to run in front of a bus, God might scream at you, stop. But then as soon as you've stopped, that soft, still, loving voice comes back. So we have to lean into that. The more time you spend with him, the clearer his voice is. If you only pop in once or twice a week, or even once a day for a few minutes, you aren't going to learn his voice as well as if you spend an hour with him. You have to learn to differentiate his voice from the voice of those people around you. And I'm not so sure that it's as much about practice as it is about just spending time with him, abiding with him, trusting him, testing him, saying, Lord, is that your voice? Did you really tell me you love me? You'll forgive me of that? You've forgotten about that, Lord? You want me to rise up with more courage, Lord? You want me to act like the daughter you made me to be? You want me to act like the son you made me to be? You don't want me to be mistreated anymore, Lord? Is that really you? And he says, yes. And come back tomorrow and there's more. Come back, come back, come back. And it's okay to miss. Just like it's okay if you have a 1.5-year-old toddler, it's okay that they don't know what the word no means yet. They don't know what the word is come to dinner yet. They'll learn. It's okay. They make mistakes. We make mistakes. And our Father loves us so much that he knows that we'll make mistakes. He doesn't hold those against us. But over time, as we spend more and more time with him, we'll hear his voice clearer and clearer and clearer and